What have you done for me lately? That's been a motto of the NFL since I've been a fan. What have you done for us lately, John Harbaugh? I will admit, I was very high on John just 2 weeks ago. But here we are. After another terrible playoff performance, after dominating the regular season, here we are. What has John done for us lately as Ravens fans? As the head coach, the responsibility for playing like this in these huge games falls on him. What has he done for us lately, Ravens fans? Are we happy with how we perform in the regular season, or do we want and expect more? This and more on today's episode of Pozone. Mike Macdonald had his second interview with the Seahawks yesterday. Everything points to him getting that job. What is the contingency plan for us after Harbaugh? What does that even look like? Harbaugh for years has been a great recruiter. Players love him. He is a great rah-rah type guy. But the reality is, who has it better than us? Chiefs do. Teams that show up and show out in the playoffs like the Kansas City Chiefs do. Harbaugh is 12-10 in the playoffs, his total record. But most of those wins came in his first 5 years. Who was on those teams? First 5 seasons, had Ray Lewis, had Ed Reed, had Anquan Bolden on the offensive side. They went 9-4. Not bad at all. Not bad at all in the playoffs. Did those few players like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Anquan Bolden have something to do with all that? Were they, I guess the better question is, were they the type of locker room leaders that supplemented what Harbaugh is doing as a coach? Since the Super Bowl, Harbaugh's playoff record is 3-6, which is truly terrible over an 11-year span. Even worse, 3 of those losses came at home, at the bank. Against the Texans, we all heard about Lamar at halftime, given his speech, his inappropriate speech that he said at the time, to kind of rally the team, and we came out, completely different. Was Harbaugh right there with him during that moment? Or was he out of answers since the playoffs lately have proved to be too much for him? If it wasn't for Lamar doing that, who would have stepped up in that moment? That's, to me, is when you need a head coach. As the head coach, you need to be able to step up in that moment and redirect the energy, refocus the team, and come out, make the adjustments at halftime and take that game. And that's what we did against the Texans. But I didn't hear about Harbaugh. I didn't hear about Harbaugh doing anything. All we heard about was Lamar. I think you have an issue when your quarterback has to be the one leading the team at halftime. Yeah, great. I mean, it's absolutely great that Lamar did that, right? I'm not saying that at all. Where was Harbaugh? If Lamar did not do that during that game, would we have come out flat again in the second half like we have in the last several years in the playoffs? I want to talk a bit about Harbaugh's body language this year. Not just this year, but the past several years. I've noticed it's been very telling. He seems anxious. He seems aggravated on the sidelines for every game until we're winning by 2-3 touchdowns. Then he's all smiles and he's having a good time, but you're not going to win games. You're not going to win every game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Players see that. They might not verbally say anything about it, but they see it. Every mistake made, he crosses his arms, shakes his head, looks completely aggravated. He just doesn't look like he's having fun anymore. And we as fans and the front office needs to see that and understand that, because the body language indicates he is not having a good time coaching this team. I want to really reiterate here that there is nothing wrong with losing to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. There is something wrong in the way we lose. That was not good. That was not a good game in any capacity outside of the second half defense for us. Andy Reid has his team prepared and motivated, and we did not. It's simple, we did not. After all the work our players put in the regular season, we get to the playoffs and our head coach dropped the ball as far as game preparation and game motivation. I said last week, it's almost should be expected that everyone should be highly motivated for this game. But, it didn't look like it. It did not look like it on offense for us. The players did not execute, but the coaches did not put them in the best position they needed to be in to execute. The head coach dropped the ball big time in game preparation and mindset. In the video last week, I stated Harbaugh lets them be themselves. Maybe he has lost the ability to lead them and has defaulted to this more liberal leadership style. But who knows? Something here needs to change, though. I truly believe Harbaugh isn't the type of guy that's going to hold himself accountable. My proof on that is just look at last year when he was heavily criticized. Instead of saying he needs to be a better coach, he needs to coach better, he needs to do anything any better, or he turned to those criticizing and referred to them as fans being at the end of the bar. So this is what he thinks of us. Our opinions don't matter, and he just sees the game better than we do, I guess. Which, it's appropriate. He's a professional. I'm not a professional in any capacity, right? I'm just a fan here with an opinion. But if we are critical of him in any way, we are just drunks at the end of a bar. This is why it's so huge that we're about to lose a very young coach with a lot of potential and stick it out with more of the same from Harbaugh. If I was the one making these big-time decisions, I'd at least consider the chances of Mike Macdonald replacing Harbaugh. Some of you may not agree with that, but apparently on social media and the internet the last couple of days, a lot of people are saying the same thing. I don't see our front office doing that. They want to continue with the status quo, but unfortunately, our status quo has been great and to be great in the regular season and then lose in an embarrassing style in the playoffs. That's our status quo. That is factual, 100%. In the comments below, let me know what you think. Are we better off being proactive here and thinking about life after Harbaugh, or do we keep everything as is heading into next season? I never thought I'd be saying this after the 2019 disaster, but we wasted our best opportunity again that we have ever had this year to win the Super Bowl. And we lost it due to poor coaching and poor game preparation. That cannot be argued. If you take any moment to go back and look at the film or the highlights from the game, it came down to poor coaching and poor game preparation. That first drive, we went 3 and out. Our defense let them score on their first 2 offensive possessions. Our defense was not prepared. Our offense wasn't prepared until arguably the fourth quarter. Is Harbaugh going to take any accountability here or just continue to make excuses? We need answers. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But thank you. Hope you all are slowly recovering this week like I am. I knew later in the week I'd be less upset. I'm just angry now. To be honest with you, I'm just angry that this happened. And I want leadership to acknowledge the mistakes that were made. That will go a long way. We'll see we'll see if they do it. Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful. And we are just fans at the end of the bar if we don't accept how this season ended. You all have a good day. I'll catch up with you soon.